Hello Animals fans and welcome back to AniLysis. Today we are joined by Mersha, who wanted to sit with me today. Can you see her there? I think you can. What do you reckon, Mersha? We're going to look at Visser 3's Sea Serpent morph today, aren't we? Good girl. Comes from this book here, number 15, The Escape. Visser 3 has many battle morphs. Most of them of an alien persuasion, and this is no exception. This image here is by Monster Man, and it is of the yellow sea serpent, which has no name. It's a completely unnamed morph, so it's just referred to as the sea serpent. And here comes Lila. Why have I got two of you now? Better not step on the old keyboard. Oh, whatever. I quite like what Monster Man's done. I will say though, it probably looks a bit too much like the basilisk from Harry Potter, if you can see behind Mersha. Let's get into some quotes. How is this being, this morph, introduced? Well, it all starts when they go to the Yerk base beneath Royan Island, where they're making the hammerhead shark controllers, sort of, to be sent to Lyra. And this is a project being undertaken by Visser 1. The animals arrive in the base and do a little bit of stuff here and there, and then that's when it all kicks off, and that of course is when Visser 3 arrives. Get to the lab, Visser 1 said. Go to work. She walked past me, like she'd already forgotten I existed. I held my breath as she stepped out into the hallway, but Axe and Tobias were gone. I breathed a sigh of relief. Why? Maybe because Axe would have hurt her. I don't know. Then, through the massive round porthole, I saw something large and sinuous, like a snake, but a snake that was 50 feet long and thicker than a taxon. It was the yellow of poison, with a mouth that looked able to swallow a small boat. It was coming straight for the facility, and on either side of it, like an honor guard, were a dozen Hork-Bajir in bizarre red diving suits, propelled by small water jets attached to each ankle. I had a feeling I knew this particular snake's name. Roar! Jake's tiger roar sounded a little frazzled. We need to get out of there and help them, Tobias said. No, I snapped. They can't be helped by us rushing out there. Visser 3 is coming with more Hork-Bajir. He's morphed this giant snake from planet whatever. They stared at me like I must be hallucinating or something. Look, it's him, okay? I saw it through the porthole. Huge yellow snake with Hork-Bajir alongside? What do you figure that would be? 50 feet long, round as a taxon, and it's a snake-like body. Basically just picture the basilisk from the Harry Potter film. Except yellow. And it's more of a sea creature than a sewer dweller. By the way, both my cats have disappeared. I think they've gone to go for a play fight. Oh no, they're both down here. Both just chilling beside the desk. Lovely. But this massive snake-like creature, which is an alien, which is why I think it probably looks a bit... That looks too Earth-like to me. I don't know, I just picture something a bit weirder. Eventually, this snake appears, and it's just about when... Well, look at the quote. It is not AniLysis, the Lyran said again. It is a human. Visser 1's face remained impassive. No, you idiot, she sneered. It's a gorilla. They're related to humans, but not human. This is an AniLysis in morph. I beg your pardon for disagreeing, Visser, but... Two things happened then, within seconds of each other. I broke out of my trance, whipped around and punched the Lyran right in his froggy mouth, and from the nearby dock a huge yellow serpent reared up suddenly. Visser 3, I assume? My mother said contemptuously. Well, I see you've made a mess of things, Visser 1. Our old friends the AniLysis bandits seem to be annihilating most of your troops. The massive snake head grinned an evil grin as it towered above us. I don't think this is an actual grin as in, or I think it's more just the way that you say a crocodile is grinning at you. You know, it's not an actual grin. It's just the way it's staring you down. Always, it's very cocky, very arrogant, very I'm in charge here, that sort of thing. So I don't think this serpent alien can actually express facial expressions. I could be wrong. I could be very, very wrong. But this thing looks down at the animals and of course then proceeds to attack, but very quickly loses its advantage. Just then, down from the sky, something huge plummeted toward us. Something huge and poison yellow, aiming right for Axe. Axe, look out! Visser 3's massive jaws opened wide, ready to snap the Andalite up, but Axe dodged nimbly aside. I am not human, Marco. It's not so easy to sneak up on me, Axe said calmly. Visser 3 reared back up and aimed once more for Axe. This time the massive head came down faster. Axe jumped left and tried to whip his tail at the creature's head, but he tripped. One hoof caught on a piece of debris. He lurched. He stumbled. Got you, Visser 3 cried in glee. The jaws closed around Axe, but then, with Axe literally in his mouth, Visser 3 stopped suddenly. He stopped because a very large, very angry grizzly had just grabbed his midsection. Let him go, Rachel growled. Let him go or I'll rip you in two. The Visser kept his jaws still. He could have chomped Axe in half, but he didn't. It's a standoff, Andalite, Visser 3 said. You have me, and I have your fellow terrorist here. But the water will be pouring in soon, and you'll drown in that body. Let him go, Rachel said, and tightened her grip till her claws drew yellow and green ooze from the punctures in the snake's body. I guess we have a negotiation here, the Visser said. I stepped in, took careful aim at the snake head, drew back my arm, powered the massive bunched muscles in my neck and shoulders, put 400 pounds of weight into it and punched the Visser in the nose. Negotiate this, I said, as my fist met the squishy, soft snake's snout. The Visser's snake eyes flew open. His jaw flew open. He sort of hovered for a few seconds. Then his head hit the ground. He slithered, mostly unconscious, back into the water. A trail of green ooze marked where he'd been. Axe himself was covered with the same disgusting green slime. This particular Visser 3 morph is possibly one of the most pathetic he's ever done. I do plan, and I have put this on my list, I do plan one day to rank Visser 3's morphs in terms of how good it was. This one will probably be somewhere near the bottom. Basically, he comes up, tries to bite Axe, and as soon as he gets his jaws around Axe, Rachel's just like, nah mate. And then Marco just boots him on the nose and that's it. It's done. Pathetic, Visser 3. We get a few descriptive details there, so it has this yellow-green ooze, which is basically the blood, the life fluid. It's almost like this is a big taxon, because it's described in a very similar way to how taxons are filled with like this goo, like Nickelodeon goo, that sort of stuff that they used to have. Although that's probably mostly from Dan Schneider. Dear God, that's terrible. It's got a very soft snout, which, you know, if it was a giant snake, it would be quite rough, quite hard. So that's another reason why I'm thinking this is very much the same build as a taxon. It's also just as yellow as a taxon, except it's more long and snake-like than a taxon. That's all this seems to be, because it just punctures like so easily and is so easily defeated. It might as well be a glorified taxon. So Visser 3's morph falls half unconscious out back into the water from whence it came. Oh, by the way, it's got eyelids. Just so we know, it's also got eyelids. It's been given a bunch of teeth and a forked tongue here, which I'm pretty sure isn't a thing, but that's just Monster Man's interpretation. Fair play. I don't see it that way. But that's not the last we see of the sea serpent morph of Visser 3's, because obviously Visser 3 can't demorph. He's in the middle of the ocean, in the middle of the water, under the water. And the animals go further into the facility as it's about to self-destruct effectively to find Visser 1. And they see Visser 3 sneaking a look in, having a bit of a peep through the porthole. Look, I pointed to the big round window that looked out onto the sea. There, just beyond the glass bubble, was a monstrous yellow serpent, Visser 3. He saw us spare her life, I said. How do you think Visser 3 would interpret that? He'll think she's a traitor, Axe said instantly. It's what he wants to believe. And when he sees that we've let her live, it will be all the evidence he needs. So this actually does put into place a lot of the dominoes that will fall later in the series regarding Esplin and Idris, sort of culminating in book 45 and leads to Visser 3 becoming Visser 1. It all starts here where in his Sea Serpent morph he looks through one of these windows in the side of this facility and sees the Animorphs sparing Idris, Visser 1. He sees it with this... So this morph's obviously got relatively good eyesight as well, we can say that. It's got eyelids and relatively good eyesight. You've got a good idea on your eyes. Pretty much nothing else about you though. And then just because the book needs a bit more tension, they break the large window in this facility and all the water gets sucked in, including Visser 3. Crumph! The window exploded inward. Whoosh! It was like standing with your face 2 inches from a fire hose. The power of the water was insane. It was like getting hit by a log. I was instantly knocked off my feet, swirling and swirling in the insane foaming avalanche of water. The room was a tornado. Water whipped everything around in a spiral. And then something long and brilliant yellow came shooting into the room. Visser 3! The sudden suction had overwhelmed him and drawn him in, like lint being sucked by a vacuum cleaner. The office door popped out like a cork. Rachel, Axe, me and Visser 3's huge Sea Serpent morph went flying down the hallway. It was like we'd been shot out of a cannon. You'd think, oh, well, Visser 3's been sucked through this hallway then. There might be like a bit of rough and tumble between them and this massive snake-like monster. Then we'll really see what this snake monster morph is made of. Apart from Nickelodeon goop. We might see it actually be useful. But no, because he gets sucked into this hallway, and then this is the next time we hear of him. Huge bubbles were erupting from the underwater facility. Explosions rocked the sea, like echoing hammer blows through the water. The hologram that disguised the facility shimmered and disappeared as we swam away from the absolute horror. We saw Visser 3, a distant yellow ribbon, snaking away. Nothing comes of it, he just escapes again. What was the point of him being sucked in? Except to make his morph look rubbish again. This morph is apparently a sea creature, but it hasn't got enough propulsion to stop itself getting sucked into a building that's flooding in the ocean. What a load of rubbish. You are. So in summary, he's got this morph that's capable of going underwater. He's got quite a few morphs capable of going underwater, we can safely assume. And this one gets beaten up by a gorilla and a bear, and then gets sucked into a hallway of the Animorphs and does nothing, and then just skulks away. Yeah, it's basically a glorified taxon, isn't it? That's all you are. You're crap. You're rubbish. One of Visser 3's worst morphs, I am sure. It's such a letdown. You're so bad you don't even get named. To be fair, there's a lot of Visser 3's morphs that don't get named. But that doesn't make them bad. Look at the 8-headed, 8-legged creature from book 1 and book 47. That's a brilliant morph, even though it's not got a name. You're crap and you have no name. You've got no excuse. You might as well not have bothered turning up, honestly. What was the point of Visser 3 turning up? I can't actually remember the book well enough to recall what exactly he contributed. Because I'm pretty sure it's very, very little. It's just a case of, oh, Visser 3 needs to show up in a new fantastic morph. Never mind how bad we flunk it. Anyway, I'm just going to spend the rest of this video insulting this morph for how bad it is. So rather than me doing that, let's find out what happens next in AniLysis. Oh, and by the way, this morph never shows up again, just so we're clear on that. If I've missed anything, do let me know. But apart from that, let's go see what's next. It's time to spin the old wheel-a-majig. Hopefully we'll get something other than this. One thing I will add about the snake is it was clearly aquatic, and then he tried to fight the animals on land. It's like an amphibious thing. I just want to make sure that I cover all aspects of this creature. This rubbish morph is apparently some sort of amphibious creature, because it's... Unless that's why it performs so badly, it's because it's not amphibious and it's purely aquatic, so it's really slow and awful out of the water. But then you would have thought, if that was the case, then surely when it was in the hallways, it would be able to do something. You know, that's when it would really bring its A game. But no, it's just this crappy, no good at anything morph. Anyway, less of that, we're done with you. Let's click and spin the wheel. What's gonna be next? I hope it's got chocolate, because I like chocolate. What's it gonna be? Steve L. Fangor's friend. Okay. Alan Fangor's friend. You're not the Steve we know, not that Steve that we've already done an analysis of. Even more obscure Steve. We're going to cover him next time. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you tune in for that one. I shall see you somewhere else in the Animals universe. Ta-ra.